Gray. Hey, welcome to DopelivenTV Live. It's the show where we let you, the audience, say whatever you want to say to the topics that we pick. Welcome. It's a great day today. Today we're going to be talking about domestic violence. It's out there. People don't. It's just not talked about a lot. All right. So this year we had a lot of police brutality and things of that nature, but domestic violence, it did not stop. And it's not always as obvious as we might think it is. We'll get into that in a second, but I got to say that the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. So yesterday we talked about child abuse, the things associated with child abuse and how you can recognize child abuse. And it's not just hitting a child and bruising them. It's demeaning them. It's breaking them down mentally. It's breaking them down spiritually, as well as physically. So we're going to watch out for all of that and make sure that we are cognizant of the signs of child abuse. Today, we're talking about domestic abuse. What happens in domestic abuse? How do you get through that? What are the signs? Domestic abuse is about controlling somebody's minds and emotions as much as it is about hurting the body. Being abused can leave you scared, confused. It can be hard for you to see what your partner's actions are, and it's hard to see what the actions, what they really are, because they could in 1 minute say, hey man, demean you, curse you out, hit you, slap you, and this and that. Then the next minute it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what got into me, I'm so sorry. But we want to hear what you have to say. This show is open for everyone, and I know a lot of people they look at the show after it's over. They look at it, they don't comment. Okay, look guys, you can come on and comment, say whatever you got to say, and you can even get on here with us so that your face can be seen, unless you got warrants. If you got warrants, I got you, I understand. But that's a joke. But let's get into the signs of domestic abuse. Some of the others will come on shortly. But usually physical abuse isn't what comes first when we're talking or dealing with domestic abuse. It can come upon you when you don't even know it, in the form of putting you down at certain moments of the day, just putting you down, keeping you away from your family or friends. And sometimes the violence ramps up once you've been cut off from other people. Then by that time it's too late. You feel trapped, and that's when it's over. One thing that I can't understand is, in a domestic violence situation, and hopefully somebody can explain this to me, why do the women in those situations, why do they stay? I understand you want to be loved, and this guy has provided you in a place where you're comfortable, and you're afraid to leave because now what are you going to do? Well, you got to bolster up a support group, a group of people who can support you if something like that. As soon as you recognize the signs, start getting you a support group of people that can be there for you. And when it's time for you to make that transition out of that abusive relationship, you have somewhere to go. There's nothing he can do, and I'm saying he, but there's sometimes where men are abused, physically abused, mentally abused as well. And their issue is they don't want to be called a punk, the woman wearing the pants in the family. They don't want to feel that way, so they stay. In no way, shape, or form should you stay in a situation that's abusive. No way, shape, or form. So we want to try to give you some signs to at least alert you, let you know. And not saying that everybody out there has it, okay? But if there's anybody watching, because I've connected with a few domestic abuse groups. If you're watching, we want to try to help in the form of talking about it. So one thing, a sign of abuse, if you're afraid of your partner, that's a huge red flag. You may be scared to say what you think, to bring up certain topics, or you may say no to sex, and that sets them off. No matter what the reason is, fear has no place in a healthy relationship. If you're afraid in your relationship, especially a healthy relationship, it's not a healthy relationship, period. If you feel like you're being abused, there's a good chance you might be. And it's worth getting help. Keep in mind that as you go along in these situations, it can get worse and worse the more you dismiss it. We got to quit dismissing abusers. We got to make sure that they know and understand what they are doing. You know what I'm saying? So here's a couple of signs that that I wanted to share with you guys. Your partner bullies, threatens, or controls you. Say they accuse you of having an affair. They blame you for abuse. They criticize you. They tell you what to wear and how you should look. They threaten to kill you or somebody close to you. They throw things or punch walls or break furniture when they're angry. They yell at you and they make you feel small. I mean, those are the verbal abuses. And those are the things that keep you in the relationship, because they, especially the one where it says that they threaten to kill you or someone close to you if you say anything about what's going on. It's a threat. Yes. Is it something that you should validate? I mean, if they're doing that, okay, yes, validate it. Okay. But again, have a circle of people there that can help you when that comes up. Your partner controls your money. They keep cash and credit cards from you. They put you on an allowance and make you explain every dollar that you spend. I mean, they take your money and they put you on an allowance with your money. That's just insane to me. But they make you explain every dollar that you spend. They keep you from working whatever job you want. They steal money from you or your friends, and they won't let you have money for basic needs like food and clothes. That's all of that's a mess, man. Hey, let's welcome Gina Gasson.
Hi, everybody.
What's going on?
You got it.
Tell Robert happy birthday.
I did already.
But I'm going over the some of the signs I think are signs of domestic abuse. And I don't know. I don't understand how people get caught up into situations like that. But it's happened. It's real. Let's welcome Chris to the show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Yeah, it happens. And it's real. And when it gets to the point where your family and your friends are afraid for you, then something is wrong. But what I had said earlier, Gina, was that especially in a situation where the man is abusing the woman, why do the women stay? And a reason that I gave was that there's security. It's they have a nice place. They with this person, spend some time with this person, and the person starts tripping. They don't have any place left to go. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's hard to say why. A lot of times it's fear. A lot of times it's the security. Sometimes people don't even realize that they're being abused. So it's a lot of different reasons why people stay in there. And, you'll hear a lot of times they say it's love.
Huh.
Yeah. They feel like it's love. And that's kind of what our guest on Monday, Dee, talked about. That's, what her daughter is saying, that he loves her.
And see, that's and I had mentioned that earlier too. They do what they do. They beat you. They demean you. They say whatever they're going to say, and then they turn around with the halo over their head and they say, look, I don't know what got into me. First thing, I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that lulls the woman into a false sense of security. And she says, okay, I believe you. And she's saying this with half an eye hanging out, you know, bruise on her cheek. You know, I don't know what, or and I can only speak from my situations. I've never wanted to, and as Chris said yesterday, I've never wanted to or had an inclination to raise my hand to a woman because I know what damage I can do. And I'm not going to jail for killing nobody, you know, unless it's warranted. But I know what damage I can do. So I just can't see it, you know. And as far as the verbal abuse and everything like that goes, I don't need to do that. You know, I can walk away. You can say whatever you want to say to me. I'm built that way. Say what you got to say to me. I don't have to return it. All right. And I'd rather walk away and let calmer heels prevail as opposed to going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And that leads to something else as well, you know. Shit going around, you know, breaking glass, punching walls, the furniture getting broke. I mean, I can't do it. And I've had so many calls over the years, you know, Greg, this and that, and even guys have called me and said their woman is abusing them. You know,
Yeah, men get abused as well. A lot of times people think it's the female, but there are instances where men are abused.
Yeah,
And the thing is, a lot of them are silent because they feel that it is, you know, they're not masculine, or you know, they're weak because their wife or their significant other is abusing them, but it's prevalent.
Yep, they don't want to be called a punk. You know, you let your woman do this, you a punk. You know,
Right.
what's with you? Look, call me what you want. Well, again, like I said, I can only speak from my situation. You can say what you want to me. Don't put your hands on me. Even if a woman puts her hands on me, and answer me this, Gina, Chris, if I restrain her, is that the same as a beat down? As you know, she's gonna say that, of course, if the police have to get involved. But if you're hitting on me and I restrain you and push you to the couch and then walk away, it's not abuse. That's she's been the abuser.
Right.
Well,
Right.
you know, nowadays in today's world is who tells on who first.
Right. Who called the police first?
Right. So that's what it's about nowadays. So, and even if she calls the police first and shows up and it look like he's the one that's being abused, they're gonna take her to jail.
Exactly.
That's what they're doing nowadays. So
That's crazy though, man. I we living in some times, bruh. For real.
oh yeah. I mean, you know, like we talked about all week, man, abuse comes in all shapes and forms nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And what we're talking about today, you know, because it's pretty much like Gina said, they don't know. The first inkling is that it's love. He's not gonna love me. Some females are like, he's not gonna love me unless he puts his hands on.
But that,
I mean, you say it true. Those are facts, man. But that just sounds so wrong to me. You know.
I mean, it is wrong. It is wrong, but I mean, sometimes, like I always say in situations, you got to take yourself out of how you would handle it,
Right.
and look at the whole scenario.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You have some women that's like, oh well, if he doesn't fight for me, then he doesn't love me. And fight for me is also meaning putting his hands on her or things like that. And I'm like you, G. I don't understand it,
Right.
but it happens.
It happens. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
And when it happens, man, it ain't good. I was looking, you know, as I was trying to study up on this today, man, I saw some stuff that did not make any sense. You know, it gets to the level of what I saw. Man, there was one where there was this guy. He had a knife. Police
Mhm.
came in, and they actually prefaced this video and said it's graphic and very violent. This dude had actually cut the woman's head off. All right, cut it completely off. They blurred it out, of course, and they told the guy to lay down, and he laid down, but he had his knife right by him. So I guess the police were trying to get to him, and he picked the knife up and started swinging again. They shot him, and he threw the knife at him, and of course he died. But I'm like, what? How does it get to a point of I'm so mad at you that I could kill you? I can't see it. I can't.
It's not always what the other person is doing. Sometimes it's what happened to that individual growing up.
Yeah, but they take it out on that person.
Well, one thing, Gina, don't beat me up, okay?
All right, watch what you say.
So 80%, 85% of these females got a mouth on them, bro. They cut skin deep, bro. And some guys don't know how to deal with it. Some guys do not know how to deal with that.
Well,
and
you are right about that. I got one. I ain't gonna lie. I got one. But
yeah, but you also have a man that knows how to deal with it, that it's not going to affect him
right
in a way that he has to become physical or any other type of form. You know what I'm saying? And some men don't know how to handle that verbal abuse.
Yeah.
So they only wait to retaliate.
He knows my personality, and that's, I think we talked about this maybe a few weeks ago, whereas when we talked about it when we had the segment on relationships. You have to figure out whose mess you want to deal with, whether it's for 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. Don't fool yourself. But then a lot of times abusers are looking for weak people. They're looking for weak people that they can abuse. They're not going to find a strong female or a strong male to abuse because they know that they can't do it.
Yeah. And another thing is like one thing I've never understood, even if the person is being abusive, like the screaming and the crying and all that, if you don't have a heart for that, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what is, even if you put your hands on a woman.
Right.
And you just keep hearing it and you continue to move in like, that's the part I don't understand.
And see, that's what I was saying, man.
Like you're physically hurting her. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear it. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know how to stop. You know what I'm saying? You're physically beating her and you're hearing her cries and you continue going. That's what I don't understand.
Hi, D.
What's up, DeAndrea? You can come on if you want. Come on through, girl. But how and Gina, you had said, they get in and they assess the situation basically. But how long does it take to assess the situation, man? Some of those things, there's some signs I'm quite sure that you can see right off the bat. All right. You're over at a friend's house and you say something and he's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. So he fidgets, and then when he gets in the car, it's like, I'll put it like this. I saw this video today. Like I said, I've been doing it all day. I've been looking at some stuff. Saw this video, and it was a short mini series, but the guy, let's welcome Jory Lynn to the show, Dr. Jory Lynn.
Hey.
Hi, Dr. Jory.
Yeah, what's going on? What y'all talking about?
So the guy,
we talking about how you be beating a man up out there.
All right, Miami.
In a bad way.
You see she didn't deny it.
I
Yeah.
said, all right, Miami, you heard what I
You
said.
you see, she didn't deny it.
Right. So I was saying the little short was the man. He met this girl, liked the way she looked, bam, 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 moved her in, and he had his friends over one day, and they were talking, and the girl was there, and they were saying one way to do something. The girl said, Here's the way to do it." She danced a little bit and this and that. Okay, so she said, "Y'all excuse me." Everybody's laughing, including the guy. "Y'all excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom." So him and the guys were talking about, "Yeah, man, your girl's cool, man. We like her, blah, blah, blah." And so then they said, "Well, I'm going to go check on her." He went over there and said, "Don't you ever do that with my friends again." And she's like, "What did I do?" He said, "It's like you flirting with him. You got on this nice little top and you got this on." And he had her pinned up against the wall. And I'm like, because I'm trying to figure out what happened. She didn't do anything, because you were laughing right along with them. So he spoke on it, and she was like, "Well, look, if you put your hands on me and call my brother and this and that." He said, "I don't care about your brothers and them. By the time they get to you, it'll be over." She stayed.
Wow.
She stayed. She still stayed because he's like, "Hey, look, I'm just saying, just don't do that. I'm sorry, just don't do that." And she was like, "Oh, okay," but she stayed. She stayed. This was a mini series, and I'm going on. I went from the first episode 1 to episode 7. She was still there. Okay. So I'm like, you still.
Well, I mean, it's one of those. It's like we said earlier. Men and women, they don't know when to get out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when it's like the Omar Epps LL Cool J movie, they in too deep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those situations where it's not that he's overprotective, but I feel that it's like he doesn't want her to be that friendly with his friend. You know what I'm saying? It
Tell
don't.
her and no physicality.
Well, I mean, but that's true. I 100% agree with you. But like I said, some men don't know how to express their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Most men don't know how to express their feelings, so they're gonna do what they feel is correct, which is 9 times out of 10 is the wrong way of doing it.
10 times out of 10.
Right.
But you made a good point, Chris, when you said sometimes the person feels that they're in too deep. A lot of times, an individual does feel like they've invested all of this time in this person and they don't want to start over. So they just stay in it, hoping that it gets better. And, at some point, maybe he or she'll stop hitting me, or maybe he or she'll fall in love with me. So they do. A lot of times it is investment. They've invested so much time in that person.
Yeah, and then one of the things that I hate saying or hearing is a man say, "I hit you because I love you."
Because I love you. Because I love you. What's up, Maurice Bishop? Lewis Blacknell. Yeah, because I love you. Maurice says, "I always thought people like that don't know how to love."
They don't.
They don't know how.
Well, the thing about it is that they don't know how to love, and then the person that they do it to don't know what love is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's a correct way to love and an incorrect way to love. Here's another sign of domestic abuse. When your partner physically abuses you, they could abandon you in a place you don't know. They can attack you with weapons. They keep you from eating, sleeping, or getting medical care. They lock you in or out of the house. And of course, the physicality, they punch, they push, they kick, they bite, they pull hair. And there's a section here that says your partner sexually abuses you, they force you to have sex, they make you dress in a sexual way just for them, they make you feel like you owe them, they try, even though they know they do, this is kind of way far-fetched, but they try to give you an STD, or they won't use condoms or other birth control.
What?
I'm just telling you what they say here.
Whoa. Rewind that. I need you to rewind that. Because I thought you said they purposely give you an STD?
Absolutely.
Okay, let me go back to eating my tuna and crackers.
Absolutely. Hey, it happens. I'm telling you.
Wow.
In another one I was looking at, this lady met a guy. She had a boyfriend. She met a guy. They was cool. They were kicking it, right? Not kicking it, kicking it. Then they got a little bit closer and they had sex. Okay. So then I guess the boyfriend was feeling some kind of way, went to the doctor. Doctor said, you have AIDS, you know? And he's like, well, how would I have AIDS? I don't sleep with anybody else but her. So he was waiting at home till she got home with a gun in his hand. He got home and he was like, I can't believe you. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's unaware. He said, he threw the paper at her, the results, and he said, look at it. And she said, what? She looked at it, she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He said, I've seen you go to this man's house. I followed you all week. Seen you go to this man's house. And now you gave me AIDS. And she said, well, put the gun, and he put the gun down and walked out, okay? Then she picked the gun up, went to the other dude's house. The other dude said, hey, I meant to tell you. I just, you kissed me. I didn't kiss you. You kissed me, blah, blah, blah. And the rest is history. So he deflected back to her and he said, you're pointing the gun at me. What you should be doing is killing yourself. She says, you know what? You're right. Pow.
Wow.
People do it, Gina. Dr. Jory Lynn. People will, on purpose, because they're so miserable, they want you to be miserable with them. Misery loves company. You're going to give you, he got AIDS, he got STD. I mean, you're going to get it too. And ain't nothing you can do about it. So they gives us some, I guess, some safeguards. Keep an eye out for things like excuses for injuries, personality changes like low self-esteem in somebody who was always confident, constantly checking in with their partner, never having money on hand, overly worried about pleasing their partner, skipping out on work, school, or social outings for no clear reason, or wearing clothes that don't fit the season, like long sleeves in the summer to cover bruises. Me, I don't know.
Or over applying makeup.
Yeah, to hide the bruises. Yeah. Maurice Bishop says his father taught him a long time ago that you won't even think about putting your hands on or disrespecting someone that you love. And I think this generation is different. This generation is completely different. Because see, if we did some stuff like that, even at a young age, I say 20s and this and that, let my father hear about something like that, I'm in trouble. It's over. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fathers that have these sons that do it, they've done it already. They've done it too. They're setting a bad example already. So
yeah, I mean, it goes back to what Gina said. Sometimes it's what they seen in the household.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they don't know how to. They was just continuing the generational curse of it.
Mm-hmm.
The cycle just continues on and on and on. So how do we break it? Are there different signs for men? Are the signs different for men? I should say. This article says they're often the same, and that's true whether the abusive partner is a woman or another man. It may be emotional or verbal, like taking away keys, or things like constantly putting you down in public or social media. And it can be physical. To make up for differences in strength, abusive partners may try to attack you in your sleep, by surprise, or with weapons and other objects. They may also abuse your children or pets. I've seen that happen. I've seen that happen firsthand.
Why the pets?
Let me tell you something. Y'all ain't got enough bail money for me if somebody touch my kids, other than me or their father. Y'all ain't got enough bail money. I'm gonna tell you, let me stay right here.
Yeah, I get it. And I knew this was kind of like a little touchy situation, and I gotta say too, yesterday, when we got off, there was I got a text, inbox message. I'm gonna try to find it real quick, from somebody who was listening to the show, and they were saying that they were actually going through something like that. I'm not going to name the name, but they said, Mr. Broadcast on child abuse, mental and emotional abuse can have devastating results as well. I'm going through that now with my grandchildren. I've had them most of their lives. Their mom took them this past weekend. I had to call the police. It's a mess. Just to get back to me, she told them how my son died. They didn't know the whole story, and I had been advised to wait until they were older and would understand. Talking to an attorney, her mind is gone. This stuff is real, man. This stuff is real. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But that was somebody just inboxed me and told me that, and I was like, wow.
Mm.
So you were talking about all the different signs,
Yes.
but that's signs once you get in it. And so I know women are emotional creatures and men are physical creatures. Whose TV is that? Chris's. I don't know what that is.
Is that yours?
Oh.
Gina got the TV blasted. Where's Robert?
That's Robert with the TV.
It's Robert's birthday. Happy birthday, Robert.
It's Robert's birthday. He gets to do whatever he wants today.
Happy birthday. Oh, I thought y'all was doing that. Never mind. We'll talk about it later. Okay.
That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys should hear him. I'm taking my headphone out. He said he's not going to tell y'all I beat him up today.
See, Robert,
I know it. I kind of figured it.
Call. He needs to make that call and get his own separate screen over here so he can tell it. And if we, Robert, if we see a black eye or a bloody jaw, a big jaw, man, we coming after Gina. We gonna get him, man. On your birthday, that don't happen.
Right.
If first of all, I wouldn't harm anybody. I think that a lot of times people, as I stated, people think that it's the woman being abused, but there are men that are abused. But I'm telling you, even to think about hitting a man, my first thought is if I hit him, he gonna hit me back, and it's gonna hurt.
And let me tell you something. And I, for one, firmly believe that if you, as a woman, got the balls to hit somebody, a man that is probably twice your size, 3 times your strength,
right?
You deserve to get hit the fuck back. That's just me.
But let me say this.
It's not a popular opinion.
Let me say this.
Right back.
I was raised to pick your battles.
Let me say this.
Don't throw the first lick.
Absolutely. But you know what? A lot of women play on. We teach our sons not to hit women.
Yep.
And a lot of women play on that, because my sons, they have never hit their girlfriends or wives because I taught them that. And so women play on the fact that he's not going to hit me back.
But you know where that comes from most of the time too, is growing up with brothers.
6 of them over here.
Okay, well I got 2. I don't have no sisters, so
Yeah, growing up with brothers, you can just hear from the conversations that some women have that, I grew up with 5 brothers. I know how to protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they use that coming into situations, not knowing how crazy the guy is. Your brothers ain't gonna try to kill you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They ain't gonna choke you out.
Right. Exactly.
They gotta answer the mama.
Exactly.
Yeah, I believe if you gonna throw the first lick, you better make sure you can beat them. That's all I'm saying. So when you pick up something, pick up something. That's what when I tell my kids, I was like, if somebody is messing with you, I said, don't throw the first lick. Don't throw the first lick. But if they hit you, pick up a brick, a tree, a garbage can, a bar, and beat the hell out of them. And that's just the way I look at it. So like Chris says, you don't know what that could trigger a man. Maybe he was abused as a child and you haul off and slap him. He have a flashback.
That's true.
And he start drilling on you, and now you like this, and he can't stop.
He blacks out.
Right.
You don't know what he has bottled up inside of him from his past.
So I'm just keep your hands to yourself. And I want the people, you can be mad all goddamn day long. Go upstairs in the bedroom and be mad till I get there.
I have 2 sons, and I've never ever, even growing up as little boys, if even daycare, kindergarten, elementary school, if they hit a girl, it was consequences behind it. So they grew up with that mentality, oh, I better not touch a female or something bad is going to happen.
Right. That's this is it. This is crazy.
But before the birthday boys TV cut me off, because it's his birthday, so he can do what he want to do. And I was saying how women are emotional creatures and men are physical creatures. It's sad and it's heartbreaking to know that they show you who they are up front. People show you who they are up front. It's up to you to believe it.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Some people they hide it very well,
So if we out somewhere and I give you a prime example. I went on a date and went to lunch, and the person I went to lunch with, everything agitated them, everything. So it was like, they took us to a table, and so how sometimes they still need to wipe down the table a little bit. I need you to come and wipe down this table and stand over here so they can get to the table. And then we sat down, and when they brought the bill, the person gave me an ink pen. The ink pen didn't write. That irritated them. Okay, you got anger issues. This is the first and last date we going on, because you showing me without even telling me who you are.
Is that a bit
that does not write should not irritate you that much?
But you know what? Sometimes people look over the signs. They want to be in a relationship so bad that they overlook those initial signs as maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm overreacting.
Making excuses. Oh, maybe it's a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get irritated, and we're having a general conversation, and the person is like, well, I'm taking care of my parents, and my sibling is living here, and once my parents are gone, they ain't got shit else to say to me. I ain't got shit else to do with them. Okay, you know what? It was nice meeting you. I can't do that kind of energy.
Well, we also have to take a look at it from this perspective. Also, they might end up putting their hands on a woman for the first time that they're together, and they try to clear it up by buying her stuff,
right?
Buying her gifts.
Mm-hmm.
That was and that I think that was one of the reasons why Tina Turner was in the situation she was in for so long. You know what I'm saying? Because if you notice, well, from the movie, because was none of us was there for the movie. After it happened the first time, he went out and bought her a fur coat to make up, to have the makeup part of saying I'm sorry.
He was trying to help out,
and then they don't think it's gonna happen again.
Yeah.
But
and by that time you're too far in.
But Greg said something that was interesting. Someone who was confident that has low self-esteem. And I tend to think that you have to already have low self-esteem to be to not recognize and want somebody to want you so bad, or you know, the story you told about the girl and the guy and the jealousy, you know, at some point it was some self-esteem issues there already.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can be I can be confident. I can be confident in my job, in my role, and still have self-esteem issues. You know, everybody has something about their body they don't like. So I think that you can have both. You can be confident in some areas of your life and not have it in others.
Absolutely.
So I think the personal part of that is always there.
I agree. You know, there's a thing on here that also says there are signs in the LGBTQ community as well. The abuser may also target the sexual orientation or gender identity. They may make excuses for abuse, like it's just how men are, or that you wanted it to happen. They tell you that the police or others won't help you because of who you are, your gender, or your orientation. They tell you that you're not really how you identify, and they threaten to out you to your family and friends and others.
Well, it's no different from any other type of abuse, you know, just because that their sexual preference doesn't make a difference. That's just another way of them antagonizing you. Just like, you know, you'll have men or women that say that they'll harm your family if you say anything.
Right.
So it's no difference. It's really no difference there.
Right. Absolutely. So, what do you do if you're being abused? And the article here says, first, know that you deserve better. That's that self-esteem issue, and that it isn't your fault. And of course, if you're in an emergency, call 911. You can also turn to your friends, family, neighbors, your doctor, or your spiritual community. But they also said, and I think I said this earlier, make sure you have an emergency escape plan. Know where you'll go and how you'll get there. Have a plan for calling the police in an emergency. You might have a code words so your kids, family, friends, or coworkers will know that you're in danger. Pack a bag with keys, extra clothes, important papers, money, and medicines. You might keep it at a friend's house, and hide a set of car keys. You know, and as they say this, though, I'm like, who wants to live like that, though? Why? You know, you have a contingency plan for in a relationship. Everybody deserves to have a good relationship, but you got a contingency plan just in case that one person or the other person goes crazy.
You have to.
Well, if you live in that life, yeah, you should.
You have to, because I mean, it's a situation where, well, it's two ways to look at it. If you're in a situation like that and you're talking to some of your people, girlfriend or parents, relatives, homeboys, whatever side of the abuse is coming from, you have to have that plan to get out. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about what let's talk about what really happens though. Let's talk about why people end up being stuck where they are, because that first or second time they get the black eye, they get the bruised ribs, they come around and a family member or a good friend sees it and offers to help and pulls them out and sets them up and get them away, and then they go back.
Yep.
And so at this point, who gonna keep going on that roller coaster ride with you?
Well, you know, yeah, that's true. But I mean, you know, sometimes it's the person, the victim, blaming themselves for the outrage of the person that's doing it.
I understand that, but if you got the courage to tell somebody, no one is gonna keep playing Captain Save-A-Ho, and you're gonna keep going back. So at this point, the person who's doing the abusing already know what the cycle is, and each time they come back, it's worse. It's worse to the point where The
But
word for now.
there are some people who will keep going on that roller coaster ride. I think back when I was growing up, my mom had a friend that was married to a boxer. And he oh my gosh, I think I remember probably from the age of 12 to the age of 17, probably longer than that, but I remember from the age of 12 to 17, my mom friend running to our house barefoot, running, like literally running to our house to get away from him. And my mom would always doctor her up. I mean, she had fat eyes. He was a boxer. His hands were considered a deadly weapon. And my mom would doctor her up and she would go back. And this happened for at least for 5 years that I remember. It could be longer than that. It wasn't until maybe 10 or 15 years later that she finally got enough. But it took that long for her to finally get enough. And I'm not talking about just a few bumps here and there. I mean, she looked like a different person when he would beat her.
Yeah.
And she still would go back.
Let me ask you this, though, Gina. Did they have kids together?
She had, yes.
And that's sometimes that's some of the reasons why they stay in.
He would hold the daughter, like when she would go to the laundromat or had to go to the grocery store, he would make her leave their daughter there.
So she would have to come back.
Absolutely.
All that, Jocelyn.
Crazy.
All that.
Jocelyn
that second one, Jocelyn. All that. Yeah, some people.
Put it up there.
But the point I was making is my mom she was always there when her friend came running. She was always there to help her. She was on that roller coaster ride with her for at least those 5 years that I remember. She was always there trying, picking her back up, doctoring her up.
She's one of the rare ones. I kind of agree with Dr. Jory Lynn, man. People gonna get tired if they're telling you this is what you need to do, and then you turn around and don't do it, and you keep running back to them.
I don't agree. I think if it's somebody,
there's different scenarios.
I think if it's somebody that you love and care about,
there's different scenarios and different ways, because no one is gonna leave their friend out there no matter how many times they go back.
Right.
Because that's their friend.
But at what point though, Chris? At what point though?
It's still a support team, bro.
Yeah, but
it ain't no points. It ain't no points. It's a support team.
Hold on, listen. If the guy that's doing this to that girl, now he wants to come to you. You done did it so many times. Now you're involved. Now he wants to come to you. Now you're gonna get harmed.
Nah,
I don't think
that part. They don't take it. They don't never take it that far.
They don't. He never did. He never did threaten my mom. He never put his hands on her. He never did go any further than that.
Well, and let me put it this way. I think that it will. I think people. You can only offer so much help and so much assistance and so much of a safe haven until it starts to affect you personally, and your surroundings and your household. And so,
well, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah, at some point you have to cut it off.
Now, John, let me read what Johnson said.
It's 9 times out of 10 it won't.
Yeah,
get off because of that friendship.
And you know what? I don't think I would either. I would be that friend or family member that I would ride that roller coaster.
So because this is the situation that it is. Like you only can be a support system. You can't tell someone how to live their life. And if you walk away and now she's
by themselves.
She's beaten to death, or she commits. I mean, but that's the only way you're not gonna deal with it is walking away. You're not gonna just be like, oh, well, don't tell me about it.
No,
because that's walking away from it.
But what I'm saying is this: like I said, I've been doing a lot of reading. Not just reading, but looking at these videos today. That's very situation happened. This girl kept getting beat down. Her friend was saying, "Girl, you just ought to leave him." Well, I don't know. He said he was sorry and this and that. Okay, well, I got your back, girl. Don't worry about it. Okay. The guy knew that was her best friend, and he felt that she was feeding her this information to leave him. All right, and he came over to the house and killed him and her both. All right. Both of them. She got involved and she was helping. And he came over there and was like, "This is your fault. All of this has happened is your fault." Real quick, Jocelyn says, hurt people. I want you to hurt as bad as I feel, type of thing. She also says, and there's people who rather be miserable just to have somebody than the stigma of being alone. You can only help a person who wants help, and they have to work for that help.
But you know what? It's
bigger than that, because it's pretty much like what we were talking about on Monday.
A mental thing. It's a mental thing. It's not a more than saying I don't want help. They do.
It's even bigger than that. It's even bigger than that because it's a brainwash type situation. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much what we were talking about Monday. You know what I'm saying? They're in the person's psyche,
like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, they got them. They're in here. Like it's mental, but it's a little bit higher than that because the person has to want to leave. But if the person that's that little voice in their head is talking about, "Oh, you can't do nothing without me," that's the verbal abuse. Then it's the physical abuse. Then it's the
if you leave me, I'll kill you type.
Right. Yeah, those types.
I feel you. I get you.
And in those situations, it's hard for that person to leave, but it's also hard for that friend to leave that person in that situation.
There's a lot of fear involved. It's a lot of fear.
Usually, and I've only experienced this one time when I was in the military, and mainly because you up and you move and you get stationed somewhere else. But after a person comes back so many times for help, and and then they go back, at some point they stop coming to you.
Yes.
Because one, they're ashamed.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they try to make it seem like things have gotten better when they may not have. Or two, it's gotten to that point, like Chris says, it's elevated so high that the abuser has isolated them from friends, family, activities, like Greg said, all kind of things where you don't really know what's going on. You could be calling, sending text messages, or hey, I'm just checking in on you, and you're not getting a response. Mm-hmm. So, it's a whole lot of things that could happen in the interim.
Yeah, they try to take you away from your support team.
So, there's a subheading here that says what to do if you think someone's being abused. You say something. You might have your doubts, but if you're thinking about it, there's usually a reason. Someone's life could be in danger. When you talk to a person, you can ask if anything is wrong. To the person, I should say. You can ask if anything is wrong. Talk specifically about what concerns you. Listen carefully. Let the person know that you're always there to talk and that your conversations are always private. Offer to help and support the person's choices. So if the person says, "I don't need the help, thank you," and every week they come in at you with a swollen eye, with a bruise on their shoulder that they're trying to cover up, we're supposed to just say, "Okay, well, I understand."
No, they can't come to me like that. I'm the type of person to say something.
Well, maybe.
And my saying something is not always the nice way of saying something.
Exactly.
But you know what? I mean, in the situation with my mom and her friend, maybe the fact that she stayed in there and that she was somebody she could lean on, maybe that was the point. Maybe that helped her get to a point of saying, "I've had enough." I'm not sure, as I said, I was young, so I'm not sure what pushed her to the point of saying enough is enough or how she got away from him. But I really feel like my mom steady being there had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, because I was in a situation where my son's mother and her best friend was in a abusive situation, and they knew not to tell me about it, because if they told me about it, the person that he was abusing and him was going to be abused also, because I was going to abuse him, because they know I don't tolerate that. That's why I say you couldn't tell me, because it'd become a whole different scenario.
Exactly.
Because everything you do to her, I'm gonna do to you. Especially if I really know the person. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's one of the situations where it's hard to quote unquote get into other people's business. You know what I'm saying? They'll go in and they'll be like, well, this doesn't concern you. You know what I'm saying? And when you try to come in and help, you feel like you're stepping boundaries into their business. And like with Jenna's situation, it was that she had the support team, but she didn't have. She had the support team, but she probably felt like she didn't have anywhere to go because the kids were involved. And it's hard. It's hard to step away when kids are involved. You stay longer and you deal with more just because kids are involved. Because one of the main things that's always said is that I'm in it because of the kid. No matter what the situation, not even if it's abuse, whatever it is.
Now, here's another heading. Well, not a heading, but another comment. They said abusers don't respect your privacy. They may call at odd hours just to check in. They may just show up at work or other places unannounced to check up on you or refuse to leave when asked. If you continue to ask them to leave, they may embarrass you publicly or make a scene. And they say that this behavior is often mistaken as romantic initially, perhaps justified by saying, I can't be away from you, or I just had to hear your voice. Get out of here with that crap, man.
I just had to hear your voice.
Show you.
Praise God, praise. I like it. And I'm glad.
That's why I took you so long today. You had to get the braids.
Yeah, I had to go to Miami.
Oh, what you do? Go to my spa? Because that Miami thing don't work with me. What you do? Go to my spa? You had the Africans braid your head, so you had to go to Ico one machine to ease that up.
Yep.
Get that pain, take that pain away.
In real life.
Did they abuse your roots?
Huh?
Did they abuse your roots?
No, but I felt the ancestors. You know how Paula White said she had taught. I felt the ancestors. But
yeah, I was waiting.
I'm so into what you were saying, Chris. I was in the car like I gotta turn to the left, turn to the right to get here. Okay. So
go ahead, Johnson. It's on you.
So where do I start?
Any way you want.
Okay. So I have been involved in domestic violence situations. And before you say it, Chris, no, I ain't whooped nobody's ass. Well, that's not true. I have whooped somebody's ass. But I
kind of figured that was going to come back around. But go ahead.
I was like, what? They got fucked up if they was messing with you.
Yeah, for real. No, I ain't even trying to. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anywho. So the first thing I want to say is I'll never forget when my parents, I back up, when my mother found out that the gentleman who was my son's father was abusive towards me. My mother's response to me was, has your father ever hit you? And no other man should either. That just kind of knocked me to knock me to the ground type of thing. And then the second part of that, I never forget the first instance where my son's father hit me, and my roommate in college at the time, she said, girl, that's nothing. And it took me like 2 days that I sat there in like total disbelief that somebody just told me that somebody hitting me was nothing.
So she was used to it.
Huh?
The girl who told you that, she was used to it. That's commonplace for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, I was young, and when I talk about, I can speak from the place where there was a certain piece of me that stayed in this situation because it was easier for me to stay in the situation and be okay in a relationship than be okay by myself. And the reason, there were a couple things around that, and one of them being, my parents are Southerners. Their roots are in Alabama. And so I never forget when I moved out of the apartment where I had that roommate that I just told you what she said, and I moved into my own apartment. And now all of this is going on in Atlanta while I'm in college. And he helped me move from that apartment to my own little townhome. And he had the U-Haul, so I cleaned out my stuff, went and started unpacking at the townhouse. And I'm like, where this nigga at? I go around the corner and come back, and he's unpacking his shit in my spare bedroom. And so I'm like, my mama gonna kill me. My mom gets wind that he's there, and she's excited because there is a man in the space to quote unquote protect me.
Wow.
But it's a double-edged sword, right? I never forget, I have some friends that have been friends since whenever, and they came down in this same little townhome, and he called himself gonna try to jump on me, and they tried to jump in, and I fought them because I wanted my fight myself. If he was bold enough to hit me, then guess what? I was gonna be bold enough to knock his whole dome off, and I wanted to do it by myself, but they didn't see it as that. So to this day, they still talk about how I fought them because they were trying to get him off of me. But I wanted that fight myself, because if you were big and bad enough to come to me, I wanted that fight myself. And unfortunately, that's the way I'm wired. When it's time for me to fight, I'm going in and I'm going to handle my business. I don't need nobody to fight that fight for me.
Yeah.
President, check this out. There was an instance when I was doing my show. I used to go to town and go to these clubs where these entertainers are. Well, I was at the time I came back to East Chicago. Club, I think it was called the Crystal Palace. I think it was called. I went there, and me and my entourage of people, and I see a friend, an ex of mine. Okay, she comes up to me and hugs me and this and that, and we dance a little bit. I take it back to the area. We had a VIP area. Take it back to the VIP area with all my guys. We just innocent. We just friends. I hadn't seen her in a while. See her. I don't know if he was her husband, fiance, whatever. He comes into the club, mad. He comes and he literally snatches her by the hair. So I'm like, hold on, brother, don't do that in the club. Don't do it at all, really. She'll be out in a second, whatever. And he's mad at me. And so he snatches her and then he slaps her. This is in public. He slaps her. So, and Chris, this is me. I grab him, my guys, and I had bodyguards at the time. My guy came up and said, no, we ain't gonna make no big scene about it. I grab him and I put him, put his arm behind his back, and I start to take him outside. So the guy turns around, he swings at me, he hits me. I'm mad now because you didn't hit me, okay? You and that's cool because instead of you hitting a woman, you hitting on me. I pick up a chair, and I proceeds to just knock him out with it, okay? Here's the bad part about this. He comes up. Oh, stop! Don't do that! Don't do it! Don't hurt him! Don't hurt him! Okay? Police come. I get arrested. Press the charges. But he just slapped the hell out of you and pulled you by the hair. But I'm going down. And this is what I'm talking about, man. This is why I'm like, I feel bad for anybody that this happens to. But you try to be that hero. You try to be that guy that steps in and help. And then they turn around and be like, well, He's okay. But he came in, he should have did what he did, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm hesitant to help now.
So let me tell you this true story. 1995.
So I wasn't born.
Nope, 1993. Shit, I don't even know how old my child is. 1993.
born.
Call home in the Navy, call home, tell my parents I'm pregnant, first time away from home. Daughter's father, gave me a ring. We engaged. We're going to get married. So, and he did the thing. He, called my dad, because he was from Alabama, my dad from Mississippi, my mom from South Carolina. So it's some protocols got to go through. He calls my dad to ask my dad, I love your daughter. I want to marry her and everything. My daddy said, just like this, we got a lot of land in Mississippi and they'll never find you.
Facts.
Today, and we're best friends. We co-parented great after the divorce and everything. And he'll tell you, him and my dad are thick as thieves. But my dad told him, he was like, you can have my daughter's hand in marriage, but we got a lot of land in Mississippi and they'll never find you. In other words, you got one time
to fuck up.
And she called me crying. That's what we do. And it was gonna be over.
And see, you know what? That mentality
that's missing now. That is missing.
Well, I'll say this about my dad. My dad is a quiet storm. And he does not say much, but when he speaks, he speaks.
Yep.
He like E.F. Hutton. And there was an incident where I actually tapped that ass and threatened dude, and because I felt like my whole essence basically had been questioned, everything that I loved, everything that I stood for. And so I was spitting fire mad with my piece and everything else. And my dad came on the scene and he didn't say anything to the individual. My dad just did one simple thing, took a whole swift shot, got his daughter, picked her up, put me in his truck and drove off. And there were years where I kind of just felt a certain kind of way, like, damn, my daddy didn't even whoop his ass. He ain't say nothing to him. He ain't do nothing to him. He just picked me up and pushed me in the car and took me home. My mother told me years later, she said, would you rather had your dad shot him, been shot, done something and jeopardized everybody's well-being, or just simply protect you? And I said, I get it. And the whole thing of it was his actions were bigger than my emotions or my reactions. That actually threaded again seeds into, I know who I am. I'm going back to that 10. You know what I'm saying? So you can try to get over on me and think that you're going to treat me a certain kind of way, but it's just something about who I am that it's just not going to break me. And being an alpha female, as we all on this call, on this podcast are, and men, you can speak to it. It's difficult being around a 2020 alpha female because we have been raised to be independent, but yet we have to be dependent. My mug says it best, fuck it, I'll do it, because when it hasn't been done to the level that we want it done, damn self, we don't apologize for it. So in a certain vein of that, it's emasculate, if that's the correct word.
Yep.
Emasculating.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's not done on purpose, but it's a new era. And damn, I'm only going to ask you so many times, and it's not disrespect, but it's just who I am and how I was raised.
And one of the things that we didn't take from that, and one of the things that we didn't take from our mothers, that because the way you say we were raised is and if we got to let you know that we, you didn't do this right. Our mothers didn't do that. They just did it
And kept on going.
and kept on going.
Mm-hmm.
We, these days, and I'm guilty of it. I ain't gonna even lie. I ask you to do something, and I see you doing it, and then I'm like, and the whole time in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this up. And to the point where I'm probably getting ready to break out in halves because I just want to take it and do it myself.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, it's not gonna be done right unless I do it.
Absolutely.
But you want to give them the opportunity. You want them to be the king. You want them to be the head of the household. You want them to do everything. And then it's like, wait a minute. So, my mom didn't do that. It was like, so my dad had a new car every 2 years. My dad tore up a new car every 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And, my mom was like, okay, she did things to make sure that the household stayed intact.
Right.
We got to be like, fuck up another car here, and you just won't have no car because I ain't gonna keep, footing the bill and doing this and I mean, we didn't learn that
compromise.
I don't even say compromise. It's that help me part of it.
Okay, I'll take that. And then there's a okay, now this is where I'm gonna tap Chris and Greg to tap back in, because in that same vein, we're not going to be men, but we've taken away so much from our men, and then when it's convenient for y'all to be men, we want you to be men. Why everybody went bye-bye?
Oh, no, that's
look, I can tell you this.
That's a damn true statement. That's a true statement.
Well, with that, I'm not intimidated by a strong woman. Okay, I don't have a problem with a woman making more than me, even though that's going to be hard to do. I don't have a problem with any of that. Okay, I would rather have a woman, and I've said this plenty of times. You can lead. We can be equal, but sometimes you can lead. I prefer majority of the times because you guys are analytical thinkers. You think better than we do. We think, number one, about ourselves, and number two, we don't think from our hearts. We don't use our hearts in our decisions. Women think with their hearts and their minds. All right, they think everything out completely. Men don't do that all the time. Well, most men, I should say. So I don't have a problem with women. Yeah, I never feel emasculated because I number one, I'm confident with who I am, all right, and number two, I know times are different. So women, y'all, hey, do what y'all do. I'm so happy, and I've said this several times too. I'm happy to have associated myself with this consortium of women, strong Black women, strong professional women, women who can speak their mind and know what they're talking about, as opposed to those ghetto ass women who speak their mind and don't know what the hell they're talking about.
But that's what I agree. That's one of the I think I said this before. It takes a certain man to deal with the alpha female. It does. It takes a certain man. That's why I said when I met Robert, and he learned me, and he, and I got the mouth, I got the let me do it myself, let me have my independence, step back. But he knew how to deal with me in the right way, where he's still my king, and I'm still his queen.
Absolutely.
And there is no, I'm the boss, you sit down. No, I'm gonna, and you got to get to a point where a man has to get to a point where he can deal with that, because a lot of them can't get past that initial first step to say, okay, now I understand her a little bit better, and I can work with this. They're too busy having this idea that this is the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be in control, and you're supposed to be submissive. and we're not going for that. But I'm going to say one thing I want to say before I leave off, because I have to leave off. But the one thing that I learned, I saw a lot of abuse outside of my home. My mom and dad, I never saw fight. I never saw my mom and dad argue. They were together until my dad passed away. I don't know how many years, 30, 40 years. And I never saw any kind of abuse in my home, but I did see abuse around me, such as my mom's friend. I had another relative that lived with us that I saw him beat women. And, you know, I had friends in high school that their boyfriends were beating them. In high school, like high school, I was fighting back then. I don't care who hit me, male or female.
Right.
But it taught me the one thing I said growing up, seeing it, that's how I don't want to be treated. It taught me how I did not want to be treated. So even though I saw it, it affected me in a way that said, I don't want a man treating me like that. And so I never was in a relationship that was abusive because I just, you know, I'm not going for it. And that's not the way I wanted to be. And so it was a learning experience growing up, seeing these different situations. And there's more that I saw outside of my home, you know, with different neighbors and so on and so forth. But it just made me realize what I didn't want, what kind of relationship I didn't want.
Absolutely. So, hey, make sure you tell Robert we said happy birthday. But before you go, tomorrow, everybody, we're doing not a reading, but we're reviewing this movie here, The Shack. I actually watched it today. I got it off of YouTube. Okay, so you can watch it on YouTube in its entirety. All right, stars Sam Worthington, Octavia Spencer, and Tim McGraw. It's an interesting movie. Okay, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. All right, so Tina, make sure you tell everybody.
That's who that was.
Tim
Was
McGraw.
Is that Tim McGraw, the country singer?
Yes.
I don't know why I couldn't. I was like, man, I know his face, man, but I don't know where I know him from.
Dude, when I saw it, I'm like, that dude looked familiar. And I'm like, that's Tim McGraw.
And I saw it for the fourth time. I watched it again last night, you guys.
Oh, wow.
But that was the fourth time.
And when we get off, we'll watch it again, okay? I mean, it was at the beginning, I'm kind of confused. Well, no, we can't talk about it. So tomorrow.
One more day. We got one more day.
Hey, Gina, you might want to get out because what I'm about to say gonna keep you on. So you might want to get out. You'll never get out from what I'm about to say.
Let me go. I'm gonna join Ludine. Hey, Ludine, I'm gonna join Ludine in the audience. Bye, guys. Love y'all.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Robert said thank you.
No doubt.
Bye,
See
y'all.
you later.
Go ahead, Chris.
Now, when I want to ask a question to Dr. Joy Lynn and Jocelyn. Is there
Who
really
got music?
Huh?
Who got music?
I don't hear nothing.
You hearing something in your head?
Cause we don't hear nothing.
Yeah, we don't hear nothing over here.
Oh, maybe I had a. Never mind. I'm just scrolling. I'm like, where's the music coming from? Okay.
The question I really want to ask is there really a such thing as an alpha female?
You know what? I think okay, so I wanna roll it back because Jocelyn said something interesting. And she said that we want to be in charge until we want y'all to be in charge.
Right.
And so but if you look at it from a different perspective, especially those women who are single parents, they take on that role immediately when the father is not around. So,
okay.
When the father is not around,
right?
Or the father could be around, but is not as active or doesn't, it's not the disciplinarian. Because, when we were growing up, the dad was a disciplinarian. The mama was, I'm going to tell you, all my mama had to do is say, I'm going to tell you, Daddy. Everything stopped.
Right, exactly.
The fucking world stopped.
Right.
Because telling him was like death.
Right.
Just beat me. Beat me now and put me on punishment, but don't tell Daddy.
Right.
So when you look at it from a perspective of having to do and be everything, yes. And in a particular role, yes.
Okay. So this has always been my
Great.
gripe. Oh, I mean, Jocelyn, did you want to add on to it before I went on?
Well, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You asked, is there such a thing as an alpha female? So
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw it back to you. What is your definition of what you're asking me if it exists? So what is your definition?
I'm just asking
Oh.
because the term alpha female gets thrown around a lot. So I just want to know before I explain.
Okay, so let me.
I think there are, so because of what I do for a living, we do these personality indexes.
Mm-hmm.
So some people are, A, B, C, or D.
Right.
Depending on where you fall on the spectrum.
Right.
And so if you want to just put it in two categories, yes, there's an alpha, and then there's everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You always have one that is stronger, one who
when you say
I
stronger,
wouldn't even say stronger, I would say emulates more power or authority over others. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
There, you grew up, your mom said either you're a leader or you're a follower.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If you're a leader, you're the alpha, and if you're a follower, you're everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So in that respect, yes, there are some alpha females. You do. In every group of females, there's always one person that can talk everybody into doing some shit they ain't supposed to be doing, or going somewhere they ain't supposed to be going, or girl, put that on, you look cute, when good and goddamn well you
wouldn't have that shit on.
Come through.
Absolutely.
Come through with it. Come through. You know what I mean? It's always one person in that group. Very rarely do you find, and I'm blessed, but very rarely do you find a group of women who are all like-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Jocelyn, Gina, and Ludine all to be like-minded and can uplift one another and can support one another, and aren't afraid to celebrate their successes and cry with them when they feel that they haven't done their best. It's rare that you find that, because it's always one friend that's gonna be like, man, fuck that nigga, but she ain't got one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, there and that.
Right.
I'm gonna need her to stay off the screen for like 2 minutes because she is killing me. So in that respect, yes, I do think that there are some alpha women. And I would say the same goes with men. I think that y'all conversations are maybe a little different, but you always got a group of friends who want to do the right thing, but you always get that one brother be like, man, there's gonna be some honeys at this bitch. You need to get out the house.
Right.
Woo.
Part B.
You Jocelyn, you have anything to add on to that? You good? Okay. So I mean, basically, the reason I asked that question is because is it being an alpha female or is it just being an independent woman? Because sometimes an independent woman is not an alpha female. She does what she has to do to get things accomplished. That doesn't mean that she's
say this to you. An independent woman may not be an alpha female, but an alpha female is definitely an independent woman.
True, but not true. Because
all right, that's my me time. Let me let y'all debate that.
And the only reason I say the only reason I say true, but not true, because you have women that's alphas that know how to lead. They work well in a group setting. they can't work well by themselves. Just
So
because
they're,
you work,
they're
just because you work,
independently dependent.
they're independently dependent. That's funny. I like that. But the only reason I say that because it goes back to like it was when we ended segregation.
Here we go. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When
Yeah.
we ended segregation, everything that us as Black people wanted to do,
We did.
we really didn't want to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We wasn't really concerned. Like segregation could have been the last thing that we did for us to be where we got to right now. Because when we were just having to stick to our own, we were at our best. When they wanted us to come in and do what they wanted to do with them, what we were fighting for, to go into these restaurants and do all that, that's where we fell off.
But
As a
Chris,
race-
isn't that true with most things? That when they leave us alone, and this is human nature, to do what we do it
Mhm.
well. Until
Mhm.
somebody interjects and comes in and try to tell us how we
Mhm.
do what we do well, which we were doing well before they even came
Before
in.
they even came, right?
Going back off.
Okay. Now, when it comes to that part,
He's killing me.
the other part also is that when the segregation came into play, on the second, I ain't gonna say the second part of that, that's when women got all their rights too, right? When y'all start fighting for women's rights and stop fighting for everything that we was fighting for as a whole.
No, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
it this way.
Yeah,
The Black people were fighting, then the white
No.
women decided they wanted to fight.
Yeah, I feel you on that. But
Okay.
this is the part that I'm talking about.
Okay.
When we were fighting together,
Mm-hmm.
we were getting further. We were getting further. When women start fighting women's rights, when our rights together wasn't where it's supposed to be at, that's when stuff started falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
When
I agree.
when women got their rights, that's when the term alpha female came up.
I agree.
Good.
So it's like it's women that can hold their own.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like the way Dr. Joy Lynn explained it.
Mhm.
It tweaked my thinking a little bit on the alpha female because before you explained it that way, I was like, I don't really think it's a alpha female perspective. It's just a perspective of being that independent woman that has to do what she has to do to get things accomplished and done because of what they did to the Black man, as far as mass incarceration, drug incarceration, military, all of that. To take us away, to take the man away from the family, to get Section 8, to get welfare, to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the reason why I brought up is really such thing as an alpha female. And the way you explained it, Joy Lynn, that tweaked my mind a little bit more to say yes, it is something out there.
All right. Well,
That was heavy. I need a drink.
All I can say is midgets.
You crazy.
That's it. That's all I got to say. Midgets.
It's just. I want us to get. I'm not saying us to get back to where we were, because if you notice, and I hate to bring this up too, we might get shut off because of this question. I mean, because of this statement I'm about to make.
All right. Well, the views expressed on Dope Living TV, the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. We won't get shut off now. Go ahead.
Okay. This because the what is it? What is it called?
Alphabet soup.
I call it the alphabet gang, whatever you want to call it. The reason they got laws before we got laws is because they all stuck together as a cult and did what they were supposed to do.
Cult?
Yes, as a cult. That's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. They stuck together as a cult and got their laws passed. And we don't, and us as Black people don't do that because we have
Get together, huh?
we don't. We don't. I mean, I'm not saying us that's on here that's on Dope Living because we all support and stick together. But
I mean, Greg think he the boss of everybody. We should stay the cool.
it's just it's certain things that we have to do to get stuff where we want to get them to.
Absolutely, that's not right to say that. I never said that. We work together as a team. All I do is facilitate. That's it. You see, I sit back here.
And all I do is sit in the corner and eat. Bye.
I got some crap over here, but yeah, hey, good points, everybody. I don't speak on what I don't know about. Okay, that's just me. I read up on a lot of stuff, but you know, if you guys have other proclivities that you proclivities. Maurice said, "What?" But that's cool, man. I mean, look, and I don't even know if that had to do with domestic violence or not, but
no, it didn't. It didn't. We got out the what's the name and started talking about the alpha female.
We do it because look, at least we get our point across on our subject in that first hour. The second hour is just like a freestyle Friday. We get it, whatever. Okay, but I wanted to say something about that alpha thing. Okay, the women can't. I don't think they can be called alpha females. Like they can call beta females. You know, we're
call us a fish,
huh?
You want us to fight?
We're going down the Greek. We're going down the Greek alphabet. Okay, we already have the moniker, the title of alpha males. Okay, so you guys got to be beta females.
It's going to be a whole lot of alpha women that would debate.
You got your fraternity. This ain't a fraternity. We talking about the hierarchy of the system of things.
You cannot have a man if you don't have a woman first.
That's why you got the beta, alpha male, beta.
No,
male.
You can't have a male if you don't have a female first. How will you birth a male if you ain't had the female first?
Okay, but the thing is, y'all didn't step up, so we took over as the alphas, and you guys, we still gave.
Y'all didn't do it right, so the women had to come in. Right, Jory?
Let me ask this question.
You know I don't entertain Greg's foolishness. I don't even know why you tried to bring me into that.
Let me ask this question.
I don't have an opinion.
No, let me ask this question then. So, and I love what you just said, Jocelyn. But does that mean that God is a woman?
We're gonna stay there for tomorrow.
Whoop, whoop. That was right on time, Jocelyn. Slid that right on in there. Slid it right on in there.
Jocelyn know why I said that.
Let me get back to Dr. Joy Lynn talking about my foolishness. I have my opinion does look, I haven't done the foolishness in 3 weeks, basically. Okay. So
no, you I mean, yeah, you slide your foolishness in there every now and then.
Okay.
You see, my mom, I was raised, if you don't acknowledge stuff, it's like a kid. You know how they fall, and until you ask them what's wrong, they okay. But as soon as you say you okay, they start crying. That's great.
No, I don't have a problem with anybody saying I'm wrong, but you're talking about some foolishness.
I didn't say you was wrong. I just said it's foolishness. I just,
What if I was really serious about that? I mean, I wasn't.
But you're not. So that's why it's foolishness.
Okay, I get you. I understand.
I know you do. You intelligent some days.
Damn.
All right, Dr. Jory Lynn.
Yeah, I owed you that. So you knew it was coming.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
You knew it was coming.
I'm good.
So I know we were talking about abusive relationships and things like that. I have been fortunate not to be in one, but I also carry a gun, and I make it very known that you hit me, I shoot back.
Okay, now here, hold up. And it's good to let me sit up in my chair. It's good to profess that. Let me give you another story about something.
I'm serious. I'm serious. Because first of all, I'm too old to be fighting anybody. I told y'all ain't even got to bail me out. Just let me sit there. I'm good.
You gotta get to that gun first, okay? But here's a story real quick.
So today
You gotta go to sleep too.
Here's and I agree. It don't have to be.
I don't even play. I don't even play, especially when they cook the food. I'm cool.
It can
I'm
be
on their good side all the time. All the time.
This is what happened in my family, okay? This is a true story. My cousin, she got with this guy, wonderful personality. Guy was cool, everything was great, okay? They lived with my aunt, my mom's sister. Long story short, I guess some things started going bad, and it got to a point where he was being abusive. So my aunt kicked him out the house. All right, I happened to come in town that weekend, and the alarm system that's set up at my aunt's house connected to my mom's house. So if something went down over there, or a door open, window open, whatever, they would call my mom's house. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, the guy, he kept coming to the house. Kept coming to the house trying to talk. He said he wanted to talk to my cousin. So one day they were gone, and they got a restraining order. And one day they were gone. He broke in the house and took the restraining order. And reason we know he broke in the house because we saw him around the corner walking down the block. All right. So called the police. Police came. They picked him up. I went to the car. Went to police. I said, "Hey, look, a lot of stuff's been going on. I'm told. Okay, you guys need to take him to jail, because if you don't take him to jail, he's gonna kill somebody." I mean, had that look in his eyes. He's gonna kill somebody. So the next day, my cousin went to get her hair done that morning, and later on that night, he came back. Now the doors were locked, and my aunt and my cousin came over to my mom's house because they were coming to see me since I was in town. And I was telling her, "Hey man, look, that dude, y'all stay over here with my mom, because that dude gonna come back tonight and he gonna do some damage." My aunt said, "I wish he would." I got this baseball bat by my bed, and I got the gun right on the dresser. He come in, I'm gonna get him. I said, "I don't know about that. Y'all should stay." They didn't stay. They went back to the house. Sure enough, we get a call, and my mom, I guess I don't know what happened. I don't know the exact verbiage that was on the phone, but literally something's going on at that house. All right. Her other daughter, who worked at a place in Gary, she called, and she was saying, "Hey, something went down at the house." Okay. So get my mom dressed and my mom's other sister, and we drive over there. And I'm getting ready to end this long story. We drive over there. The coroner's there. House is open, and my aunt and my cousin, they were beaten to death with that bat. She said she was going to get. My aunt was on the way to the room, evidently. Got her on the floor. My cousin, she was trying to get out. He called her. When they found her, her head was in the carpet with her hands over her head. I mean, he beat them both to death. They had kids. Everybody started looking for him, because I brought my gun with me, and come to find out the whole block was out there looking for him. Everybody had a gun. Police found him at a crack house, because evidently he was on crack with the kids that were there too. He had taken the kids. The police brought him back around the block at the house. Everybody had their guns out then. Okay. I had my little pea shooter. He drove right past me, and he was looking out the window, and he had this sorry ass look on his face. But my point in saying all of this is that a lot of women say, okay, if you do this, they talk that their bravado game. And I'm not saying anything bad about y'all, but I'm just saying they talk that bravado game, and you got to get to the gun first. You got to get to your weapon first before this crazy person comes. And when you're crazy, So I'm told you got this extra kind of strength. This is some different strength you got. You know, some different stuff. So I don't know. You know,
But Greg, you know what? 90% of something is how you handle it, how you approach it. So if someone is angry or, you know, just going off, I'm damn sure not gonna try to argue back with them.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because what I'm not gonna do is infuriate the situation more than it already is. So if you tell me to sit my ass down, I'm gonna sit my ass down. I'm gonna be like smoking. I'm gonna sit my ass down, but you can best believe
when you leave, when he leaves, we'll be talking again.
So 90% you laughing, but 90% of it is really how you react to something. But you know, and I'm full disclosure, we women, we like to try to say shit with our chest when we ain't got one.
That's what I was talking about before when Gina was on the line. Women can say some shit that hits to the core.
I mean, and we know them all. I mean, we got some shit that we probably ain't even said.
It's on the shelf.
I said some shit and I'd be like, I can't believe I said that shit. I've done it. Cause I was like, Jordan, that was some foul ass shit you said. But you have to get me to that point.
Right.
And it takes a very long time to get
on the shelf waiting.
Point. Yeah.
The key to this conversation is don't do shit that will require me to go to the shelf.
But you gotta get to the shelf.
But the thing about it is that for a lot of us who are like me and Jocelyn and Gina and a lot of people, it takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot to get us there. The problem is once we there,
sorry,
it's a lot to get you off.
Yeah, it's what I mean, you got to just constantly just like nails on a chalkboard or somebody doing. You just got to keep. But once we get there, it's no turning it off. Right. It's literally no turning it off. It ain't. You can't talk to us. There's no reasoning. You know, you got to do a Jocelyn Daddy kind of move, swoop and grab and stick it in the car and drive it away. Because you know, everything's fair at this point. Everything's fair.
And then when you're in that mental state, being a person who's gotten to that mental state, it's scary. Because when you come back and you calm down and you let the air dispels and you think back to the steps that you just did and everything that you just, who was that person?
Yeah, because we don't recognize that person because it's very rare that you get us there. Very rare. But you know, but when you get there,
but baby,
why you put your dick in the sink? You know, when you get there, you there. And that's the end of it. I mean,
poke that bear.
Yeah, that's but see, that's the thing about it. Well, I mean, in those type of situations, I can only speak about myself. Because
do you poke bears?
I mean, sometimes it happens, but when you try to use the tongue lash, and I just laugh at you, and then that makes them even more pissed.
Right.
Because I'm not the arguing type.
That's like my husband.
Yeah, but I've been drawn into it.
Yeah.
I've been to an argument, but I'm not the arguing type either.
I can't even be drawn into it. I just laugh.
And then he laughs, and then days later he'll laugh again, and then I'm like,
it's funny.
I've had somebody be like, yeah, get out. I'm like, okay. I leave out. And
I just laugh and leave.
They slam the door. Slam the door real loud. Bam. I'm like, you stupid. And then they call me like, I didn't mean to slam the door like that. Yeah, you meant that. It's cool.
50th wedding anniversary, we gave them a big party or whatever. And so my dad, the man of not many words, but he said he'll never, one of his fondest memories, my mama got mad as hell and she was going off and blah, 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 and you get out. And he said he started walking towards the door and she threw herself across the door and said, "Where you going?"
That's another reason why I don't argue with women.
It's
Because
fun.
they'd be like, they ask you a question, you try to answer the question, and be like, "Well, let me talk," and then you let them talk, and then they ask you another question, then they ask you why you're not answering.
They ain't heard a word you said, even if you try to interject, it's over.
So that's what my favorite word. Oh, that's crazy. That's where that came from.
I hate that. Oh my God. Jerlyn, are you like me? I hate when somebody call me crazy.
Oh, that's
no,
crazy.
no, because I got some tendencies.
Not crazy.
You know what? I am so in tune with myself. I got some tendencies. Shit. You know, hell.
But here comes
You just gotta, you know, I mean, I own some shit. You know, I own it.
I just recently.
First laughing, but I'm so serious.
I used to sit up here and write some things that just on my mind, things that have happened to me in the past and this and that. And one of them just came up again where I had to really, instead of shutting up, I kind of went back and forth with somebody. But you know what? I wrote them back and I said, I have realized that the world is full of people who want to be right. I most definitely am one, when actually, and this kind of tripped her out, the secret of a man's strength and his pathway to true honor is his ability to admit fault when he has failed. I would love to live around people who can say that they're wrong when they are wrong. A person who is willing to humble themselves before God and their family and say, "I was wrong," will find that their family and friends will have all the confidence in the world in them. But if they stubbornly refuse to admit that they were wrong, the confidence in them is gone. We can't be right all the time, so let's pick our battles. And sometimes admit we don't know everything. It's okay. It's all right. You know, we as men, we got to do that sometime, man, you know, and that's where that alpha thing comes in.
Well, you know,
Yes, Jocelyn.
with that, yeah, you know, with that, with me, you know, I've learned to diffuse, even though when I know the conversation or what they're saying is wrong, I just tell them they're right and keep it going. I'll be like, you know, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Jill, that's for you, baby.
Then keep it going. I just say, you're right.
Got to make sure that you at least, yeah.
But now I say, don't take it personal. Just take it with you.
You know why though, right? Because things don't just happen. They happen justly.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else got something they want to say original of their own?
Dr. Julian, what you
Chris got to say his part.
He did.
I did. Don't take it personal. Just take it with you.
So look, let's take a few minutes, man, because I want to make sure that everybody gets this, man. We've been preaching it. We've been talking about it. We want everybody. I mean, I'm gonna make sure that I get some of my people to come in so that they can be. We're gonna get 10 people on here tomorrow, okay, so that they can talk about the shack. We want to make sure we get them on here. We want to talk about it, and we want to tear it apart bit by bit, okay, and say what parts were the most meaningful parts.
I'm gonna be in the audience tomorrow.
No, you're not.
Oops.
Don't make me roll up over your house. Romeo be over there with Smokey. No chocolate.
Come on, Cletus.
I'm just saying. And you know, in on YouTube, it's there in its entirety, so nobody has an excuse of not to have watched it. Okay, but they put it on there as a Christian movie, and I can see why they would. Octavia Spencer did a great job in that movie, and so did Tim McGraw, and actually so did Sam Worthington. I mean, everybody did a great job. I didn't understand it at first, you know, because I'm like, Wait a minute. I'm rewinding. I'm saying, okay.
That's why I said you have to really watch it really at least 3 times. At
And
least.
see, I read the book at least twice before I
Well,
even
see,
watched
the book, and I haven't read the book, but my mother read the book, and she told me the book is better than the movie.
Yes. And Gina explained why.
Hey, but the movie ain't slacking.
No, it's not.
It ain't slacking.
Could have been a little bit longer.
It was 2 hours and something, but 12
Could have been a
minutes.
little bit longer.
I'm gonna
Hey,
rewatch
Passion
it
of the Christ
tonight.
is what?
But I'm gonna be in the audience because you're not gonna have me on the internet and on the interwebs all in my feelings and shit.
Not on the interwebs.
The interwebs.
No,
You're not gonna have me out here.
Dr. Darlene, don't make me roll up on you.
Hey, I sent you the address. Shit.
Where
Now,
was
you ain't gonna have me on the interwebs. What?
yeah, Nicole said she's gonna watch it as soon as she gets off. Make sure you
Nicole, we need to send Nicole a link so Nicole can have my spot tomorrow.
No, you gonna have your spot tomorrow.
I'm gonna need you to stop being a bully.
Hey, it's a good
Hey, look,
movie.
there go Jocelyn with our alpha female.
Right.
Alpha,
Right.
not
Right.
beta.
See what I tell you? I'm trying to always have one friend that be like, girl, come on.
But we want everybody to
You
get
know what? I don't have to take this. I'm being abused.
Are you've been abused?
Hey,
I'm being abused.
go hang out at the shack. But
Right.
yeah. You might not want to go to that shack though.
I don't know. I don't mind. I don't mind.
Man, I'm gonna go there.
Oh,
Man,
also-
if we could actually go to a place like that,
Baby, stop tomorrow.
see, that's what I want to do this shit tomorrow.
See, I
Right.
want to ask a question though, Jocelyn, about that movie. I really want to ask a question about it right now.
We can do it. We can do it when we go out there.
No, I'm gonna keep it till tomorrow. I'm gonna keep it till
No,
tomorrow.
okay.
Nicole, we love you as well. Definitely
Nicole.
love you as well. She says she coming in. She's gonna be ready tomorrow.
As you should.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, we want everybody else to say.
Bishop, where you at, Bishop?
Yeah, she ready, Mama.
Mhm. Bishop, always on here. Bishop, where you at, Bishop?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna ask too many questions because I really want everybody.
Hey,
else.
you know what?
Hmm?
Actually, add the YouTube link to the
Oh yeah.
to
that
the post.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
we
that's
can
the
go
YouTube
straight
link.
to it. Is it on the Flicks or Hulu? I ain't gonna watch no
I
damn
didn't
YouTube.
see it anywhere else.
I saw it. I've been watching it on Fire Stick on my movie thing on Fire Stick.
Okay.
I downloaded it off of my Amazon Prime.
That's what I probably get mine off of. I
It
think
was
I
$4.
probably bought it on Amazon Prime and it's in my favorites.
I don't know.
I got a couple of movies on there.
Wow,
If I hadn't gotten my brains tied back today, I probably would sit and read the book tonight.
dang, I'm glad I looked at it because now they got it to buy or rent on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Man, well, actually, let me see because I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at the.
Also,
Oh no.
The letter showed up in my
I'm sorry.
mailbox.
You better stop.
also, I spoke.
They're gonna get you.
Yeah, they gonna get you.
I'm
We ain't
muted.
trying to get you. We ain't trying to get you pay no more fines.
I'm muted. Already, I ain't doing that anymore.
It's Christmas time, and you gotta buy my gift.
I ain't-
Also, I talked to Sister Soldier today,
No, you didn't.
and the coldest winter ever. The book is coming out in 2021.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
ready.
It's called Rain. I believe she told me that's the name of it.
So, Chris, we need to get her to Gary in 2021.
Okay.
Real talk.
Okay.
Real talk.
Yeah.
If we can get her for November 2021, Black Girl Magic.
Okay. Most
Yes,
definitely.
at your wedding.
Send me
In a
just send
tutu.
me information on it so I can get it over to her.
I gotta figure it out.
How,
I
yeah.
gotta figure it out.
Well, we can talk on that too.
Figure it out.
Hey,
I'll dance in your wedding with a tutu.
Jocelyn. Jocelyn.
Yes, Greg.
The forgiving scene.
What you need to be forgiven for?
I
We
said,
on the damn movie. He thought
My mate.
I said the forgiving scene
What you need to be forgiven for?
on the
My
movie.
child. What
On
do you
the
need
movie.
forgiveness for?
Talking,
On the movie.
talking
We're
about
not
the
talking
midgets.
about the movie. Today
Talking
is
about the
the night.
midgets. Talking about the
Tonight.
midgets. He want to be forgiven. Talking about the midgets.
Real talk. Real talk.
Talking about them little people.
Do you see my forgiveness look?
I got it. I found it. No, I'm actually on something else. So now I'm looking. What's your forgiveness look? Oh, really? Okay. I hope they don't get mad at me for copying it and sharing it.
Nah.
It'll be all right. It's on
Nah, you can share it.
the Jory, on the interweb.
on the interweb.
Yeah.
On the interweb. I'm watching on Prime. I'm grab me some hot cocoa and some damn
Right
fish,
there.
Girl, what you gonna put in your hot cocoa?
some Kahlua.
You know what? I wanted to go to the liquor store today because I need some Baileys. Actually, let me tell you, Kahlua and Jay's Breakfast Club French toast. I'm going to do a French toast after dark for the alter ego. Baby, let me tell you that shit right there. Whew, Jesus,
I'll be there Saturday morning to get that shit. Just let me know.
I don't have a liquor license yet, but I'll make you some just for you, Joey Lynn.
I'll be there Saturday morning to get it. Show will.
Okay, I'll make you some.
So and actually, and I'm going to tell you this. This is way off topic, but in 2017, in October, when I graduated with my doctorate, and a lot of my family members from South Carolina came up. We came to Jay's Breakfast Club for breakfast, and it was so funny because my cousins are from South Carolina, and that particular morning we were line dancing at Jay's. I don't know if you remember that, but they had. She was like, "Are y'all breakfast places like that up here?" I was like, "Y'all line dance in the mornings?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we just eat it. We just get up and we just start dancing in the middle of the breakfast stuff." They so had a good time.
Was it DJ
Jocelyn,
or were they doing actual line dancing?
No, somebody was actually she taught us one quick one.
Yeah, that was a small business Saturday. I'm so ready for COVID to take his ass and pack and go away.
But they enjoyed it, and we had a table full of food. I think we ordered damn near every entree that morning, and we just had food everywhere. But yeah, so I'm ready to come back, and French toast is actually my favorite.
Then I'm gonna make you a special order of French toast just because it's your favorite.
Oh, I'm sorry. So now I posted that.
And a fat girl is happy.
So that means you got to come tomorrow. Because if you don't come and check in,
that's some bullshit.
Toast for you.
See, I knew it was some foolishness attached to it. I knew it.
No, hey, Nicole Montgomery, that was me. I have that was actually from the YouTube. So because we're airing on YouTube and Twitter as well. So that was me. There's no twin. She said I have somebody who looks
just like you.
Nah, that was me.
Here for the world.
Yep. So hey, we had a great discussion today, guys. Talking about domestic abuse. And tomorrow. Drum
roll, please.
Tomorrow, we're gonna be talking about The Shack. We're going to be talking about The Shack, based on the international bestseller with Sam Worthington, Octavia Spencer, and Tim McGraw. It is a good movie. Need y'all all to watch it. You can click the link that I posted in the post, that I put in the post, and I'm going to reshare the post again. So the link is there. Click it. Takes you straight to the movie on YouTube. You can get it off Amazon Prime. You can get it off of your Fire Stick on your movie selection. Go check it out. Join us tomorrow so that we can get it in. And talk. This is the first one that we're having, so we're gonna try to do this once a month. So, Jonathan, somebody got to pick it. Somebody turn next time to pick a movie. I'm picking Players Club, so
ready?
yeah. I want to find out what the symmetry is between a dry pole and a greased pole.
When the preacher called.
And why didn't they have any midget strippers there?
Who said they
Players
didn't?
Club.
Who said they didn't?
I didn't see any.
Well, were you looking for them, or were you just looking for Diamond?
No, man, please. I did Diamond a long time ago, but I wanted the smaller strippers. I wanted the smaller girls.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
I'm surprised you ain't even clicked off yet. I don't even know why you still got your face on there for him.
Hey, Dr.
Because my brains got yanked back.
Dr. Joylyn, you got a tattoo on your left arm?
I do have a tattoo on my left arm.
Okay, that's what's up, girl. Where else you got tattoos at?
Nanya.
Huh?
Nanya.
Oh, okay, that's a nice location. Nice location. You be taking some good pictures, girl. Why don't you send me some?
What just happened?
Not a goddamn thing.
Hey, everybody, we will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you okay? That's Chris Williams right there. That's Jonathan Lynn, R.W. Kelly. That's Dr. Joy Lynn with the tattoo on the left arm. Very great. TV. We're going to be ready tomorrow, y'all. Peace out.